Oh, yes, my Straight Talk family. Excuse me. You hear that theme song? You know it's time for another edition of Straight Talk, and time for me to say greetings to the entire world. So we are on the World Wide Web. We reach and we communicate with you all over the globe. From the beautiful Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis to beautiful islands and one lovely paradise. And my Straight Talk family, it is therefore imperative I must say good night to St. Kitts and Nevis, and I must say good night to the world, because like I said, we are on the World Wide Web, and we reach and communicate with you all over the Kittitian division and Caribbean diaspora. And I do apologize for what is definitely a very tardy start tonight, and due to circumstances entirely beyond my control. My Straight Dog family, I must, as I said, reach and say good morning. I can say good afternoon, because in the diaspora we can say good day, we can say good morning, and we can say good afternoon, because one of such greetings will be applicable to the region in which you now find yourselves. And just for the first timers, if you are joining me for the first time, just to inform you that Straight Talk is a public service program that facilitates and promotes free, underline free expressions on all issues of national interest, be they legal, be they environmental, be they technological, social, economic, and or political issues. On Straight Talk, you do have a forum to express yourselves freely. And yes, my Straight Talk family, if you're joining me for the first time, like I said, just to inform you as well that Straight Talk is heard every Monday and every Thursday from 8 in the PM to 10 in the PM every Thursday and every Monday. And it's a public service program that facilitates and promotes free, underline free expression on all issues of national interest, be they legal, be they environmental, be they technological, social, economic, and or political issues. On Straight Talk, you do have a forum to express yourselves freely. On this program, we try as well to raise the level of national, regional, and international consciousness. We try to raise the level of national, regional, and international discourse by alerting our people to their rights, to their responsibilities, and certainly to their obligations. My name is Ian Patches Liebert, and I give Almighty God thanks for blessing me with yet another opportunity to join you in conversation on yet another occasion. And as your host, I pledge to remain an untiring advocate of truthfulness. And we can assure you that absolutely nothing is watered down on this program. We never try to make it more interesting. We are not about sensationalism or creating excitement, especially when it comes at the expense of accuracy, because we lean on the facts here on this program, as it is my duty to present what I always call the unvarnished truth, the plain truth, especially when it comes to governance in St. Kitts and Nevis and all across the globe. Because this program joins us together with people across the Federation. We're joined with people in the diaspora all around the world. So we reach and touch you, and we advance positions of truth on Straight Talk. Some will agree, some will disagree, and that's fine. But please do not allow us ever to become disagreeable. In the meanwhile, let's thank Almighty God for guiding our conversation tonight as always. And in advance, we say, oh, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity, my Straight Talk family. Let us therefore pray for that day when we'll all sing his praise together. So welcome again, my people, and thanks. Thanks for those who share the link as you bring us first-timers. I must also remind you that Straight Talk is a participative program. By that I mean we include your calls, we include your emails, and if you're so minded calling, the numbers are on your screens. Our email address is also on your screen for those who like what I call the cloak of anonymity. And we also heard live on Alexa. You have that app, just say, Alexa, play Massive Vibes Radio. We can't stop thanking the owner for giving us access via his platform at a nominal cost. And while on cost as well, some of you have made donations to support our efforts here on Straight Talk. And we say a big, big thank you. I must also reassure you that no matter the size of your contribution, it helps us to continue this important public service. Yes, it's a public service. So others who wish to donate can scan the code, simply scan the code on your screen, access the payment form, and highly confidential, and in a few minutes you are okay. Thank you again for your support and helping us to keep the dialogue alive. We also must say a special welcome to our junior brigade, my Straight Talk family. And I cannot ever overlook saying hi to young Dwayne, to Tristan, to Jasmine, Shama, Kevin, Rue. I haven't heard from your grandmother for some time, Rue. Trust that she's okay over there in South Carolina, I think it is. Jamal Anguilla, Travis, Travon, Neymar, my grandson, and his good friend Soraya. I saw Soraya today looking well. Elizabeth, and that special lady as well in St. Louis. We always have our observations in review, and I must say that I will have to forego a few observations because of my tardy start. But after our observations in review, we will begin our normal thesis. For tonight, I have titled my thesis, Mr. Singh. Should Attorney General Garth Lucifer Wilkin go to jail? That's the question, my Straight Talk family. But let me get to the first observation, my Straight Talk family. And the Soka engineer, it's a very important observation as it relates to desalination. And the Soka engineer convened what he called a national discussion on water under the theme Embracing Desalination for a Sustainable Future. You can see it on your monitors. And while in opposition, remember, the Soka engineer said this, my Straight Talk family. He said this.
He had to run in the shower before the water lock off. Why in 2022, in St. Kitts and Nevis, water still locking off? That shows a lack of vision, a lack of leadership when it comes to the public infrastructure in this country. And as the engineer in this team, I will see an end to that. That you can have dependable energy and water and utilities to your homes. So that you don't have to be running home to catch a bath. Or waking up a particular time in the morning to catch a fresh. We are past that, and we give our commitment to you to provide those services.
Well, talk is cheap, my street dog family, as they say. But whiskey costs money. Because in government, now, the so-called engineer Congress, 4 years, going on to 4 years, the water situation in St. Kitts has never been so bad. And it seemed to be getting worse, irrespective of all the rainfall we're getting. So the so-called engineer convenes this national discussion. The focus, as mentioned earlier, to embrace desalination with a view towards getting us back to that 24/7 supply of water. He said this, my street dog family.
He gave the commitment that in a modern day St. Kitts and Nevis, that we should not have a situation where we have to ration water. Given these challenges, the Water Services Department had to give its advice as to where do we get additional sources from. So based on the analysis, the recommendation was that one renewable source we can turn to is that of desalination. And that is why the government has approved and facilitated the construction of what would be the largest desalination plant in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, comparable to some of the larger ones in the OECS, of a 2 million gallon per day desalination plant that is meant to address the water concerns and issues in the Basse area. By identifying that we have to do the 2 million gallon per day desalination plant, in addition to drilling additional wells in the western and northern side of the island. We believe that these efforts will go towards returning St. Kitts to 24-hour water.
And my stray dog family, while we in East Basseterre still have a serious concern in relation to the quality of water to be supplied by this desalination plant, tonight we won't address that. I got a very interesting letter from a constituent which they asked me to read, but tonight I just want to address the strategy, and then some other time I will come back to the quality. And why St. Kitts' desalination strategy is a technical misstep, and why the 24/7 water promise cannot, underline, cannot be delivered. Because St. Kitts is attempting to solve a chronic water supply crisis with a strategy that violates basic engineering logic. Building a multi-million gallon per day seawater desalination plant, while the national distribution system loses, hear this, the national distribution system loses 53% of all water produced. And that's recklessness. And this is not an exaggeration, my people. It is a hard statistic reported by government and utility assessments. And I got late because I was trying to upload an excerpt from the voluntary national review and the presentation made at the United Nations Economic and Social ECOSOC, my straight dog family. And this single number, St. Kitts and Nevis presented this, and I'll try to get it on my screen before I depart tonight. But it says that St. Kitts and Nevis faces challenges with respect to the distribution of water due to aging infrastructure leakages, high unaccounted for water due to corrosion and leaking pipes, and inadequate storage to keep pace with peak demands. Non-revenue water remains an issue due to leakages, billing and metering errors, and unauthorized uses is estimated at 53% in St. Kitts. So my Street Talk family, this single number alone makes one conclusion inevitable, unavoidable. To wit, a country cannot promise 24/7 water when more than half of its water never reaches the customer. Look at the 2022 St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party's manifesto pledge. 24/7 water for all communities. And that collapses mathematically under current system conditions. The scale of leakage makes desalination a losing battle. And let's start with the arithmetic. And you know mathematics is one of my strongest weak points, so bear with me. If St. Kitts needs 5 million gallons per day to supply the entire island reliably, then with 53% non-revenue water, the utility has to produce 5 million gallons. If you're losing 53%, then you must produce 10.6 million gallons. And don't let me confuse you, my Street Talk family. Non-revenue water is a portion of treated potable water that a water utility produces but cannot bill for. It represents a gap between the total amount of water put into the distribution system and the water that actually generates revenue through customer billing. Simple process. Desalination plant, 2 million gallons. It's pumped into the reservoir, the tank. But between the reservoir and our homes, your homes, all the pipes are leaky, damaged, corroded. So there's plenty leakage. So there's physical losses. So leaks in pipes, bursts, overflow at storage tanks. And the list goes on. But no desalination plant under construction, even at full capacity, comes close to bridging the gap. The Bastia plant, like I said, is expected to produce roughly and only 2 million gallons per day. But 2 million gallons poured or pumped into a system that leaks 53%, yields only 940,000 gallons, my people. And that's all can be delivered to the customers. This means every 2 million gallons created produces less than 1 million gallons at the tap for customers. While we, the citizens, have to pay for the entire 2 million gallons in increased tariffs. So there is no pathway from this scenario to 24/7 reliability. It's just that simple. Because desalination water is the most expensive water to waste. Reverse osmosis seawater desalination is incredibly energy intensive, chemically intensive, and maintenance heavy. Even globally, treated groundwater costs 3 to 10 times less than desalinated water. Feeding expensive desalinated water into a high-loss network does not just waste water, it also wastes electricity, chemicals, spare parts, operating labor, and loan financing. How much are they going to produce the 2 million gallons at? Because every gallon lost in the ground after desalination is the most expensive gallon ever lost in the history of St. Kitts' water system. Let that fact sink in. Tariffs will rise because the economics leave no alternative. That's what coming next. The financial logic is as unforgiving as the hydraulic logic. The Water Services Department revenue must cover its costs. And with desalination, those costs escalate, they rise sharply. Desalination consumes 3 to 5 kilowatts per hour per cubic meter. The plant's electricity bill alone will be enormous and tied directly to rising global fuel prices. Membrane replacement, anti-scalants, brine management, and corrosion control are ongoing, not one-off costs. So my straight dog family, if half the water leaks, the cost of the remaining half effectively doubles. Let that fact sink in for a moment. And don't talk about debt servicing, although they have hidden the costs of that plant. But tens of millions of dollars in project loans will become part of the tariff-based calculation. And given this reality, water tariffs have only one possible uncertain direction: upward, my straight dog family, sharply and permanently. So this 24/7 promise cannot be delivered without cutting non-revenue water at least in half. All those leaking pipes, Cromwell tell the minister, all those copper pipes that need to be replaced from the 1950s. No island anywhere has achieved universal 24/7 water with non-revenue water above 40%. So at 53%, St. Kitts sits in the highest last tier globally. To meet the manifested promise the island would need, non-revenue water reduced from 53% to 25 or 30%. District metering across the entire system. Pressure zone control to stop over pressurization leaks. And my straight dog family, none of these upgrades, not one, are achieved by building a seawater desalination plant. Under the Bastia Valley project, one of the expected outcomes was to meter the water leaving the reservoirs onto the consumers. If you understand it, my straight dog family, the water is pumped to those reservoirs on the hill and they are gravity fed to our pipes in our homes. In a moment, our pipes here will be locked off. No water will be in our pipes. But a desalination plant adds water to a failing system. It does not repair the system. Thus the island will continue. Here, take my word, no matter what the so-called engineer tells you, the island will continue to experience rationing, pressure drops, intermittent service, dry season outages, and truck water. They will still be trucking water to parts of the island. So even with new desalination capacity, there is simply no engineering pathway, so-called engineer, with 53% non-revenue water from a badly leaking water distribution network. So it's a technically backward decision that blocks, not enables. It blocks 24/7 water. The sequencing error, desalination before network rehabilitation, is not a minor policy oversight. Fix the leakages. It is fiscal recklessness of the highest order. It is the core reason the 24/7 water promise cannot Take my word, 24/7 water promise cannot be achieved under these current conditions. St. Kitts will shortly be producing the most expensive water it has ever made. You've heard that here on Straight Talk. The most expensive water ever made, only to lose more than half of it to a failing and broken distribution system. No amount of desalination capacity can overcome a 53% leakage rate. And if the manager and water engineer, Cramel, if you're listening, call in and dispute that. High tariffs are coming. High losses will continue. Intermittent supply will continue. And unmet political promises. So come Tuesday or Wednesday, whenever, soak engineer, you cannot fool us. The maths is clear. The hydraulics are clear. And the economics are unforgiving. St. Kitts cannot desalinate its way to 24/7 water. It must fix the network for us, soak engineer, or remain stuck in a cycle of high costs and low reliability thanks to the madness of the SOCO engineer, Conris Maynard. And that's my story tonight, my Straight Dog family, and I am not going to change it. In the interest of time, and that's my only observation in review for tonight as well, in the interest of time. But I'll move right to my thesis, which I have titled, as I said, Mr. Singh, should Attorney General Garth Wilkin go to jail? And I'm asking that question against the backdrop of the unfolding collapse of the government of St. Kitts and Nevis's highly publicized 2,400 unit housing revolution, which has exposed a very disturbing picture of administrative dysfunction, political opacity, or a total lack of transparency, and a justice system under strain. While the full truth behind these events remains to be determined through a formal investigation, the pattern of silence, evasion, and institutional inconsistency raises fundamental questions about whether the rule of law in St. Kitts and Nevis is being upheld, or whether it is being selectively applied according to the political convenience. Someone called me on Tuesday morning, just after my interview with the managing director of East Coast Housing Development, and requested that I ask this question to the managing director. Mr. Singh, should Attorney General Garth Lucifer Wilkin go to jail? I paused for a moment to consider the proposition and suddenly realized that it was a fair question based on the allegations made by Brian Singh. After all, it is reliably rumored that the Attorney General Garth Lucifer Wilkin transgressed the laws. He broke the laws of St. Kitts and Nevis on so many occasions. He can easily be framed as a serial offender, one who has a record known to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, a behavioral record, I should say, that captures specific actions or behavior over time. But his societal status, or his surname, no doubt, Wilkin, must have kept him from going to jail. Imagine this arrogant, incompetent, and inexperienced Attorney General Garth Lucifer Wilkins wears two hats, my straight dog family. He does.
The Attorney General, by definition, is the legal advisor to the government.
Okay.
Most things that government does has to be vetted for legality first. So that is why that concept of engine of the government is so accurate, because almost anything that needs to be done in government has to come to the Attorney General's office for sign off, basically. You know, contracts, any opinions, any claims, any constitutional matters, all of that comes to the office of the Attorney General. In addition to sitting in cabinet, and then cabinet decisions, if there are any legal issues that arise, I have to advise cabinet on those issues. Let's separate it. There's the office of the Attorney General, the Attorney General's office, and then there's the Ministry of Justice and Legal Affairs. So I basically wear two hats. But I think when people hear Attorney General, they think of both. So I think it's only fair that people know about both.
Yes, my straight dog family. This man wears two hats, he says. Remember as well that he interviewed the current Director of Public Prosecution, Adlai Smith, and subsequently gave him a 2-year contract in the first instance. Yes, he told us this.
Can you walk us through the process of what is involved in selecting a DPP for St. Kitts and Nevis?
Okay, well, the former DPP, the previous one, his contract ended in September last year. So when we appointed an acting DPP in the interim, and we proceeded to develop the terms of reference that we wanted to put out for the advertisements. So the team within the ministry met, and we said, these are the education requirements, these are the experience requirements, these are the personal requirements that we want to see. And we went about issuing a request for persons to submit their resumes at about, I think it was in December or January this year. And we received 7 applications. And what we did, we then conducted interviews. So an interview panel, the head of the civil service, the permanent secretary in the ministry, the solicitor general, and myself. And we sat with the individuals and we just had conversations. And what was important for me is what the DPP would bring to the table in terms of the advancement of the office of the Director of Public Prosecutions. So that was a key element in our discussion. And at the end of the day, we felt that Mr. Smith was the best candidate out of the persons that interviewed, and he was offered the opportunity, and he gratefully took the opportunity, and we're excited to see what he will be able to bring to the DPPO.
He interviewed and selected DPP Adlai Smith. There's some things I need to tell you about him, not tonight. But Lucifer Wilkin also rushed legislation through Parliament to pave the way for the appointment of a special prosecutor. But somehow, he has not found it convenient to appoint one, my straight dog family, up to this day.
We are considering appointing a special prosecutor that can engage auditors, independent auditors, to investigate some of the statutory corporations, and then that special prosecutor can then prepare reports to present to the DPP, who will then decide whether to prosecute or not.
So yes, to date he has not appointed or selected a special prosecutor. But Garth Lucifer Wilkin from the onset, recall, demonstrated that he did not have the temperament nor the ability to perform as Attorney General in this country. As very early he embarked upon a campaign against law-abiding citizens. He threatened, recall, to introduce his own 70-30 rule that would embarrass citizens.
First of all, let me explain. Decisions to prosecute for crimes under our Constitution is solely within the purview of the Director of Public Prosecutions. Governments can't decide whether to prosecute previous governments. For minor infractions, we can take persons before the Public Service Commission so that with the evidence that we have, and they could potentially be removed from the public service. Today, well, after yesterday and some things that I discovered, I might be publicly embarrassing some people, which might actually be worse than going to prison. I'm contemplating whether I should do that, and I'm minded more so about 70-30 to embarrass some people who might not have been corrupt, but were, I don't want to use the word I used earlier, but not very friendly towards our treasury, and I'm not going to tolerate that, and I'm going to embarrass some people.
And my Straight Talk family, Garth Lucifer Wilkin publicly declared that those who had no integrity would be found out. My Straight Talk family would be found out, he said.
What are moral principles? Guidelines that people live by to make sure they're doing the right thing. What is the right thing? Making decisions that are not based on your own personal needs, that don't expand your popularity or enhance your personal beliefs. It means doing what is best for the greater or common good. Doing what is best for the greater or common good. For example, maintaining your character when no one is watching. What is character? The mental and moral qualities distinctive of an individual, the way someone thinks, feels, and behaves. Honesty, sincerity, strong moral principles, making decisions for the greater good, not for personal needs. These are the key elements of integrity. The Bible has numerous teachings about integrity. Whoever walks in integrity walks securely, but he who makes his ways crooked will be found out. Amen.
Amen. My Straight Dog family, amen. And guess what? It was soon found out that Garth Lucifer Wilkin committed a criminal offense before he became president of the St. Kitts Nevis Bar Association. He committed a criminal offense for 15 months before he became president of the St. Kitts Nevis Bar Association. I repeat. And for 5 months, while he was president of the association, Garth Lucifer Wilkin even committed the same criminal offense for 3 months while serving as the Attorney General in this country. The Social Security Board's lawyer, Mr. Charles, for years, prosecuted poor, ordinary people and sent them to jail, but turned a blind eye to the criminal actions of Garth. Is it because his name is Wilkin? Attorney General Garth Lucifer Wilkin threatened to send the police to confiscate, to take away the telephones of citizens. He also threatened to extradite Kittitians and Nevisians living in the diaspora. And when the country believed that he had enough, lo and behold, he committed what many believe is an electronic crime against his own neighbor, my Straight Dog family.
Good afternoon.
Fred, I am extremely disappointed to hear that you are telling people stupidness about my wife. Do not cross the line. Do not cross the line.
What are you talking about?
Because I will see you with this in court, Reggie. Do not call my wife's name to anybody. You hear me?
I don't know if that's
Do not
all right. That's all right.
So when you think, or we thought, that he was going to change, he demonstrated a clear and definite threat to his neighbor, Reggie Francis. But the mother of all infractions allegedly committed stems from the most recent accusation of misfeasance in public office by developer Brian Singh, my Straight Talk family. Misfeasance in public office is a serious crime. It is a crime, my Straight Talk family. A serious crime, like I said, my Straight Talk family. And Garth Lucifer Wilkin was accused. He was accused, my Straight Talk family, of indulging in this.
Well, we didn't know that the documents were fraudulent until August this year, when we made a request to the AG, when he did termination letter, and we made a request to him in writing for copies of documentation. He, in writing, returned and said he's not providing any. And through Mr. Gums, we decided to, on our own, try to get copies of the documents, which we got. And then we realized the documents were fraudulent. Hence the reason why we decided to go towards the claim.
Fraudulent is a strong word.
Very strong and very correct and very factual. We have documentary evidence.
And my Straight Talk family, Straight Talk can confirm that claim number SKBHCV 2025 was filed in the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court on the 17th of October 2025 between East Coast Housing Development Limited as claimant and the National Housing Corporation first defendant and the Attorney General of St. Kitts and Nevis second defendant. East Coast Housing Development Limited, the claimant, contends that the defendants by their servants and agents made material representations regarding the availability of land, financial incentives, and contractual guarantees which were false, known to be false, and made with the intent to induce the claimant to enter the said agreement, thereby causing loss and damage to the claimant, who now claims rescission, meaning a revocation or cancellation of the agreement dated 20th April 2023. Damages for fraudulent misrepresentation in the sum in excess of $8 million. Damages for damage to financial reputation and loss of opportunity to perform and profit from the housing project, and damages for misfeasance in public office. Brian Singh told us about this letter of guarantee of 25% of the first phase of the contract that was not approved by Parliament. My Straight Talk family, not approved by the Parliament. And you can glean from your screens that it is mandatory. This comes from the Finance and Administration Act, Section 55, and it speaks to restrictions or restriction on guarantees. And it's clear, my Straight Talk family, it's pellucid. And it reads, and I quote, "A guarantee of a financial liability shall not be given by the government unless it is going to be authorized by resolution of the National Assembly." Read that again. 55B. A guarantee of a financial liability shall, underline, shall not be given by the government unless it is be authorized by resolution of the National Assembly. My Straight Talk family, the resolution, Brian Singh said, should have been 25% of the contract sum. But the questions Straight Talk continue to ask are, why would government issue 2 guarantees for one project? Also, if there is misfeasance, then we must ask if the Attorney General is the author of such an infraction by intentionally misusing his power, which may be criminal conduct. Or did the Attorney General perform his duties so recklessly that it meets the standard for criminal negligence? The revelation by the managing director of East Coast Housing Development Limited that the contract has effectively collapsed is more than just an administrative embarrassment. It is a major public sector failure with far-reaching political implications. The allegations that the government of St. Kitts and Nevis and the National Housing Corporation failed to deliver service lots and appropriate guarantees as reportedly required by the contract strike at the heart of governmental competence. If proven, these would constitute not only contract mismanagement, but a potential breach of public trust. Compounding this are the additional claims, again, allegations that officials may have engaged in deception, inducement, or conduct bordering on misfeasance. These are not casual accusations. They are assertions that demand independent and transparent investigation. A government that champions accountability cannot simultaneously ignore accusations of wrongdoing within its own ranks. And that's what Terrence Michael Drew has been doing. In the case, for sure, of Garth Lucifer Wilkin. And the public concern is easily intensified by past controversies surrounding the Attorney General Garth Lucifer Wilkin. As intimated earlier, in an High Court matter involving Garth Lucifer Wilkin, Justice Tamara Gill noted that the Attorney General's failure to pay legally required Social Security contributions constituted a criminal offense. Yet, despite the judge's clear articulation of the law, consequences appeared uneven compared to ordinary citizens who face penalties for similar breaches. The public perception, fear or not, is that political status confers immunity, thus eroding confidence in the impartiality of the justice system. Meanwhile, the fact that the CIBC, the bank, reportedly secured a notice of seizure against East Coast Housing Development in court adds another layer of legal and financial complexity to the housing controversy. Yet the government remains silent. Have you recognized? The government remains silent. The East Coast Housing Development claims wrongdoing, but the absence of transparent explanation fuels suspicion and deepens the perception that the truth is being buried beneath political calculation. At its core, the issue is not only about housing. contracts or court filings. It is about power versus principle. A country cannot credibly claim to uphold democratic values if the application of justice appears selective, if government acts or actions lack transparency, and if public officials or institutions behave as though accountability is optional. The people of St. Kitts and Nevis are not merely stakeholders. They are the sovereign power. And when governance becomes unresponsive, secretive, or dismissive in the face of serious allegations like the current ones against the Attorney General and the slow student, Jeffrey Hanley, whom I invited for full disclosure, for an audience right here on Straight Talk to respond to the allegations of Brian Singh. The slow student Jeffrey Hanley promised he would call me back. He said he was on his way to Nevis. His aunt was ill. I trust his aunt's health has improved. Jeffrey Hanley. But when governance becomes unresponsive, secretive, or dismissive in the face of serious allegations, the social contract begins to fracture. Rule of law cannot become ruled by silence. The collapse of the Smart Home Initiative, combined with the unresolved allegations of misconduct and the public's perception of unequal justice, represents a pivotal moment for St. Kitts and Nevis. And whether the nation moves toward greater transparency, accountability, and institutional integrity, or slides further toward rule by power rather than rule by law, depends on how leaders respond now. The strongest political message is this: no democracy can survive if the law bends for some and breaks others. The people deserve clarity, accountability, and a justice system that is blind, not only in symbol, but in practice. Truth be told, is the debate about whether the Attorney General Garth, Lucifer Wilkin, should go to jail. It says less about the legal merits of any specific accusation and far more about the current state of our politics here in St. Kitts and Nevis. And when the Federation's chief legal advisor becomes a lightning rod for criminal rhetoric, it reflects a deep public distrust toward the institutions that are supposed to operate above politics. But here's the hard truth, my Straight Talk family. No official, Attorney General or otherwise, should be judged by public outrage alone. If critics believe misconduct occurred, the correct path is transparent investigation, independent oversight, and evidence-based accountability. If supporters of the Attorney General believe that the attacks on him are purely partisan, they should welcome the same scrutiny, because fair process strengthens legitimacy. The real crisis, Straight Talk believes, however, is much more than whether one individual should go to jail. It is that the public increasingly observes that every high-level legal decision made by the incumbent administration is politically motivated. For that reason, and until institutions can regain credibility and justice under the Terence Michael July administration, becomes blind, the Attorney General will continue to not be treated as the Federation's chief legal officer, but as a combatant in a permanent political war. Therefore, the question still remains, Mr. Singh, should Attorney General Garth Wilkin go to jail? And that's my story tonight, my Straight Dog family, and I am not going to change it. I will open the lines and entertain your calls and your emails. And when I do so, I'll do so momentarily. I anticipate that you will respect others. And of course, to achieve that, you must first respect yourselves. Let us try to be fair to all concerned. And let us, my Straight Dog family, strive to build a reasonable, fair, and just relationship. Let us ensure that the things we say and do will be beneficial to all concerned. And in the process of saying and doing those things, let us strive to build a kinder, gentler St. Kitts and Nevis. With that said, it's 10 minutes past the 9 o'clock hour. I go to the lines and take this, my first caller. Caller, you are live. Hello, caller.
Good night, Mr. Liver.
Good night. Good night, my dear.
In law, a man is guilty when he violates the rights of others.
Violates the rights of others.
In ethics, he is guilty.
In ethics, he is guilty.
If he only thinks of doing so.
If he only thinks of doing so.
Yes. I repeat, in law, a man is guilty when he violates the rights of others. In ethics, he is guilty if he only thinks of himself. Have a great, he
so.
only thinks of doing so. Have a great evening.
Have a great evening as well. Thank you, my dear. You go straight back to the lines. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller. Are you there, caller? Are you there, caller?
Hello.
Caller, you're live. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, you're live.
Yeah. Hello?
You're live, caller. You're live. We're hearing you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Turn off your equipment and just listen to your phone. I want the whole world to hear. I can hear your equipment in the background. Are you there?
Yeah.
Yes.
Madam, sir, I wanted to play that clip where the judge said he committed a criminal offense, because I have somebody here who don't believe. They can't believe that a judge said that openly. So if you can just play the clip for me so that they can hear it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, it's in fact in the judgment where the judge, in fact, says whether he was charged or not, he committed a criminal offense. I'll try and find that. Don't worry, I'll get that before we close tonight. I was actually trying to find it. Quite frankly, I was actually trying to find it, but I'll get it before you. Don't you worry, my Straight Dog family. I'll get that and confirm before we, as I said, before we sign off tonight. we will get that sorted out for you. But yes, my Straight Talk family, the lines are open. While in the meanwhile, while I search for that particular soundbite, yes, I should have queued it up before going on air tonight, but I was so much on the run that I overlooked doing that. But I promise I'll get it for you. It's not at my fingertips right now, but I will get it for you. Believe me, my Straight Dog family. And don't you worry, I'll get that for you before we go back. But yes, my Straight Dog family, I'll find that for you before we hang up tonight. And if you just joined me, we are looking at our thesis for tonight. Mr. Singh, should the Attorney General Garth Wilkin go to jail? That's a rhetorical question. We have a crisis. The real crisis, Straight Talk believes, however, is much more than whether one individual should go to jail. It is that the public increasingly observes, my Straight Talk family, that every high-level legal decision made by the incumbent administration is politically motivated. And as requested, I promise I will find it. So caller, if you're still listening, this is what you asked for.
Maybe Mr. Wilkin should be disclosing what's happened. Maybe Mr. Wilkin should disclose that he had failed to pay Social Security benefits for 15 months on one occasion, on another occasion for 5 months, and another one for about three or 4 months. And all of that is contrary to the law. And it is not a simple matter of just saying, oh, you just pay the fines. Because what you expose yourself to there is criminal action. And isn't this something that should be told to everybody? That if you do not pay your Social Security benefits, you are liable to be prosecuted. You hold yourself up for that possibility.
And yes, my Straight Talk family, when the Federation's chief legal advisor, Garth Lucifer Wilkin, when he becomes a lightning rod for criminal rhetoric, it reflects a deep, profound public distrust towards the institutions that are supposed to operate above politics. And that's the reality of the situation, my Straight Talk family, right here in St. Kitts, when we have an Attorney General who is always running afoul of the law. My Straight Dog family. Okay, let's see what our emails are saying for tonight. Or before that, let me go and take this call. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
A pleasant good evening to you.
Good evening, my dear. How are you?
How are you?
I am peaceful.
I'm giving God thanks as usual.
Okay.
Yes.
I see the
I am going
dimples.
to
I now
answer.
see the dimples. I see the dimples. Just cut the dimples. Yes.
I am going to answer the question, what you're asking.
Okay.
if the Attorney General should go to jail. I think all of them should be going to jail. That's he alone, all of them. That is, King Lawyer said he bought a house to the back of me over there for Massey's house. Remember Massey's house ain't good. He went and he bought a house, 90 something years now. And he is the first one that presents a place for Massey's house. So we would like to know if how much he bought the house for, the building for, if it costs as much as what the building what he put up there in Butcher Yard. We want to know that. And if it's taxpayers' money, he bought the building with. So let he come out and tell us where he get the money from, if it's taxpayers' money, and how much he bought it for. If it costs as much as the building in Butcher Yard. Everyone went up there go do, and now he can't finish it, and what's not. And now he ready to talk millions. So they can tell us if it's million he buy the building to the back of me over for Massey's house. You have a pleasant night. If I get I will be back.
Thank you very much, my fair lady. Always welcome your interventions. We go straight back to the lines at 9:21. Caller, you live. Hello, caller.
Yeah, hello, Patches. Good evening, man. How you doing tonight, man?
I am peaceful. Yourself?
Yeah, pretty good. I want to say thank you for playing that clip with that the judge chastising the AG. I remember vividly asking for that clip last time you was on.
I did.
I was happy to hear that caller requesting it this evening as well.
Okay, I didn't play it for
and
you.
If you didn't play it last time,
I didn't play it for you. I did not.
No, I'm not worried about that. I'm just happy you played it tonight.
Okay, I'm sorry. I disappointed you, my brother, but thanks for reminding me.
No, that's not a disappointment. No, what happened? The time was running down. You remember?
Oh, okay, okay.
I specifically told you if you don't get it on that night,
Yes.
well, and you came with it tonight. Yeah,
Okay.
you know.
Okay, got you.
Yeah. I can't put that burden on you, man.
The question really that, and someone called me, like I said, and asked.
I noticed the call is cutting in and out, and when that lady was on, it was cutting in and out as well. Are you hearing that in your headphones?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Yeah.
I was saying
okay,
the question. Someone called me and asked me to refer the question to Mr. Singh, but since that lady took the initiative, I'm gonna refer the question to you, Mr. Caller. Should AG Garth Lucifer Wilkin go to jail?
Patches, that's up to a judge. Me personally, if I was the judge here in any one of these cases, I will. These guys need to be held accountable. You know, these allegations coming out from Singh is very striking.
Yep.
Patches, there's a clip that's up at Freedom FM. I had a conversation with the AG early in his term. And I asked him the question, if he get caught up with any scandal or any BS, would he resign? The man said he won't even wait to get fired. On top of that docket that you showed, that document you showed, these claims are on that document, right? Misfeasance and whatever other allegations by Singh in regard to the AG and possibly one other bad actor. Am I correct?
On the claim, it's yes, it's a damages. Damages for misfeasance in public office.
Yes, yeah. But what I really want to make a distinction here is that is Singh going after getting him charged, or is Singh going after breach of contract and his losses and all of that equipment that was seized? Because we know that part from listening last time, man, there's a lot of legalities on here with this issue. These guys are signing off on documents that was not even approved in the parliament. And this is where the citizens got to pay close attention and keep listening very attentively. I mean, I can't see how these guys are getting away all this legal stuff in SKN. These guys won't survive in other countries at all. It just seems like he has two laws for two different people in the Federation of St. Nevis.
Yep.
Man, you go to Rams and you pick up a sardine can because you think it's slimline and you can slip in your back pocket and nobody's gonna see you and nobody's gonna notice it's in your back pocket. You're approached by the police right as you walk outside.
Yep.
But all manner of white collar crime, misfeasance in public office and such, and the AG man of all people who's supposed to be the top legal man, point man for the cabinet, and his boss is not taking an action against him. A lot of these behavior must rise to that level where there should be discipline. Yep. The prime minister, man, is lackadaisical, bro. And if I was in his position, trust me, I won't have no bad actors around me. You know how I feel about that, man. All those advisors, tag-alongs and tag-ons, I won't have them around me, patches. I'll come in with a brand new entourage. And who don't listen to my directive, man, and break the law and such things like that, they will have to resign. Or I'll terminate them. These behaviors from the AG is very striking, where the Prime Minister should ask him to resign. And the Prime Minister himself, he must understand, with him having bad actors around him, they're going to bring him down. And he is going to get the biggest and hardest fall. They're going to destroy his legacy. And I'll leave it there, Patches, man.
Yes, well said, my dear brother. And the mother of all infractions, as I said, allegedly committed, stems from this most recent accusation.
Well, we didn't know that the documents were fraudulent until August this year, when we made a request to the AG, when he did termination letter, and we made a request to him in writing for copies of documentation. He in writing returned and said he's not providing any. And through Mr. Gums, we decided to, on our own, try to get copies of the documents, which we got. And then we realized the documents were fraudulent. Hence the reason why we decided to go towards the claim.
Fraudulent is a strong word.
Very strong and very correct and very factual. We have documentary evidence.
Well, to answer your question, East Coast Housing Development are claiming, amongst other damages, they're claiming damages for fraudulent misrepresentation in the sum in excess of $8 million US. Damages to financial reputation and loss of opportunity to perform and profit from the housing project, and damages from misfeasance in public office. Let's take some of my emails, my Straight Talk family, for the get overwhelming for me. And this email reads, the Labour government is currently building houses the same design as the two smart models. Isn't this illegal, seeing that they entered a contract and didn't live up but still using Mr. Singh's design? Asks this email. This other email reads, good evening, Patches. I generally listen to your programs when I can, or the rebroadcasts, even to last night, but fell asleep right after the intro. Cause an early riser, as an early riser, beg your pardon, I know I won't be able to stay up. Even up to the last night, I tried to listen about the 2,400 smart houses, but I know I have to command my day very early, be it 3 a.m. or sometimes even earlier, or when the Spirit of the Lord leads me. I was listening one night, it was either sometime in late October or early November, when he was speaking of some kind of document or agreement of 3 persons, but could clearly remember. However, a document came up on the screen with the names Franklin Walwyn, a Fleming, if I can recall a lady's first name, and someone else's name. What really drew my attention to this is that I kept saying Walwyn, as that name sounds familiar. It sounds like the grassroots contractor that I gave a chance to work on my housing project and as a villager. The truth is, he pulled a big one on me, overcharging me and other awful things. Can you lead me to that particular video to kind of make it easy for me to review and see if these people, okay, I think this was a personal email, okay. Sorry about that, but I'll get to that email. This other email reads, greetings, Patches. The Carnival Committee informed the street vendors that they are not allowed to serve food and drinks in plastic. So what they're supposed to use to serve drinks in? They didn't think this through at all, and the vendors are left stressing out about having enough alternatives. Help us out, Patches. This ain't fair, reads this email. Thank God for Marisha. He's Martin Luther King and the Moses of St. Kitts. Keep up the good works, Marisha. Thanks for the sacrifice that you're making for your country, reads this other email. Okay, this message reads that Minister Hanley is on pass sometime this week in Nevis. Okay, he did in fact tell me he was going to Nevis yesterday. I thought his aunt was sick. I didn't realize she had passed, so I extend profound condolences to my representative, Jeffrey Hanley. But please, I anticipated that he would call me back, but he never did. My straight dog family. Patches, DJ Marishaw said he was waiting on you to apologize to Mr. Singh for the things you said about Singh in the past. But all you did was ask what happened to $10 million guarantee. Remember Big Lice asked the man from number 3 a question. He was taken to court for asking the minister a question, remember. But Big Lice wants no apology, Mr. DJ. Well, I believe that the DJ didn't listen carefully and didn't understand the questions. The questions were directed to the Attorney General, 2 questions. So if the DJ takes his time and don't get too hasty, he will understand what's going on. So there's no apology. I had for anyone. None at all. And Singh knows. I spoke to Singh, and I told the country, for full disclosure, that I met Brian Singh, and I did, and he confirmed that I did. He confirmed we are friends. Patches, I believe that the Attorney General Wilkin should be accountable for his crimes rather than the government of St. Kitts and Nevis. When these guys are in government, they do a lot of foolishness because they will be protected by the government's banner. This nonsense has to stop. Wilkin should be prosecuted and judged by his peers. Let the court decide. Reads this other email. So yes, my Straight Dog family, the answers are coming forth. The answers are coming forth, like I said, and for some reason I don't know why I did not get this posted on my did not get this posted tonight for some reason, but I will get it up some other time, my Straight Dog family. It is something I was actually referring to, but let's leave that for some other time. I really miss this. I really should have put this up on my monitors. Let's see if I can get it up on this one, because I really wanted to share this with you, quite frankly. I don't know if I'll get that done tonight. Let's see. Perhaps I may be able to do it. But my Straight Dog family, the question, like I said, was to ensure that I wanted to ensure that this information was up and on my monitors, and I'm trying to get that. I really wanted to share this information with you, my Straight Dog family. But let's see if it is at all possible. Let's see. Oh no. Let's see. Yes, we may be able to get this up, my Straight Dog family. But if you just join me, my Straight Dog family, it's 23 minutes before the 10 o'clock hour. And tonight, we actually looked at our thesis for tonight, which I titled Mr. Singh, should AG Garth Wilkin go to jail? And I asked the question as per my thesis title. As I said from the onset, in the beginning, my introduction, that someone called me on Tuesday morning after my interview with the managing director of East Coast Housing Development on last Monday night, and requested that I ask the question, Mr. Singh, should Attorney General Garth Lucifer Wilkin go to jail? And as I said, I paused for a moment to consider the proposition, and I suddenly realized it was a fair question based on the allegations made by Brian Singh. After all, we know that the Attorney General Garth Wilkin transgressed the laws of St. Kitts and Nevis. He broke the laws. And we can say on more than one occasion. And someone suggests he may be framed as a serial offender. But when one has to, or has a record to explain serial offender, when one has a record known to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, a behavioral record that captures specific actions or behavior over time, we can only surmise that his societal status or his surname Wilkin must have kept him from going to jail. He's arrogant, we know, and he wears more than one hat. He was very proud to tell us that he wears more than one hat, my straight dog family. He is the chief legal advisor to the government. And my straight dog family, he even selected the Attorney General, the DPP. Yes. He said this about the DPP.
Can you walk us through the process of what is involved in selecting a DPP for St. Kitts and Nevis?
Okay, well, the former DPP, the previous one, his contract ended in September last year. So when we appointed an acting DPP in the interim, and we proceeded to develop the terms of reference that we wanted to put out for the advertisements. So the team within the ministry met, and we said, these are the education requirements, these are the experience requirements, these are the personal requirements that we want to see. And we went about issuing a request for persons to submit their resumes at about, I think it was in December or January this year. And we received 7 applications. And what we did, we then conducted interviews. So an interview panel, the head of the civil service, the permanent secretary in the ministry, the solicitor general, and myself. And we sat with the individuals and we just had conversations. And what was important for me is what the DPP would bring to the table in terms of the advancement of the office of the Director of Public Prosecutions. So that was a key element in our discussion. And at the end of the day, we felt that Mr. Smith was the best candidate out of the persons that interviewed, and he was offered the opportunity, and he gratefully took the opportunity, and we're excited to see what he will be able to bring to the DPPO.
And my straight dog family, imagine, this is our chief legal advisor, arrogant, incompetent, and inexperienced as he may be. Garth Wilkin wears 2 hats.
The Attorney General, by definition, is the legal advisor to the government.
Okay.
Most things that government does has to be vetted for legality first. So that is why that concept of engine of the government is so accurate, because almost anything that needs to be done in government has to come to the Attorney General's office for sign off, basically. You know, contracts, any opinions, any claims, any constitutional matters, all of that comes to the office of the Attorney General. In addition to sitting in cabinet, and then cabinet decisions, if there are any legal issues that arise, I have to advise cabinet on those issues. Let's separate it. there's the Office of the Attorney General, the Attorney General's office, and then there's the Ministry of Justice and Legal Affairs. So I basically wear two hats. But I think when people hear Attorney General, they think of both. So I think it's only fair that people know about both.
Yes, he wears two hats, my Straight Dog family. Remember as well that he did in fact push forward the legislation to appoint a special prosecutor. But let's go to the lines and we'll get back to that. My Straight Dog family, caller, you live. Hello, caller.
Good night, Mr. Patrick.
How is the Bible man tonight? Good night.
Well, the Bible man is all right. He just say, I can give you a call just a little while ago.
You just wake up?
No, I was here listening to you. I listen from the time you start until now.
Okay.
Yeah, I listen to you from the time you begin. You start a little late to the show, but I see all that. No, but then I started in Psalms, it says, depart from evil and do good. And then I going over in Psalm 41 and say, blessed is the man that considereth the poor in the time of trouble. The Lord shall deliver him. That's it. Listen here tonight. A lot of people believe to themselves that them create the whole universe, Like Haman and Mordecai. Now Haman believed to himself he wanted to kill all the Jews them. So he wanted to get rid of Mordecai. But Mordecai saved the king life, Mr. Patis. And the king himself knew they were plotting to get rid of him. But him in kings. But Haman want to pay off the king and kill all of it. So Mordecai heard the news and he sent a message to Queen Esther and tell her, not because you're in the king palace, you're going to get saved. So when Esther got the news, Esther tell Mordecai, you and your man are going to fast and pray. Now, when you plot in Psalm 37, the wicked plotted against the judge and the ungrinding, but the Lord shall laugh after them. Here you are. Haman built a gallows to get rid of Amalekite. And that give me a thing here. They were plotting to get rid of. And so the gallows, when he built the gallows 6 feet and he believed to himself, he was building it for Mordecai. But the jack fly. And so this is but this was somebody when they're plotting against you, all hear my voice tonight. When they plot against you, God is going, and you put your confidence in God, God is going to change the situation. And that is the reason when Haman come up to the gate, to get the reader Malachi, before he ever doing, they try to think over your face, and they lead him out and they hang him.
Okay.
So, Mr. Patel, people must do what is right and just in the sight of God. And this is the last thing I can say. Be not deceived.
Because
God is not mocked.
Yes.
That's it. You see how
Thank you very much.
you see how things are blood in this country, Patrick?
Yes, my brother.
Patrick, you see how things are blood in this country?
Yes, my brother. Brother, Mr. Bible Man, I got you loud and clear. Yes.
You see how God, listen here, Patrick, before God.
Yes.
You see how God are moving this country?
Yes, yes, the Bible Man. You slipped in your sermon tonight?
Yes.
Thank you for it.
So God is going to bring every secret thing to light.
Okay.
So, Mr. Battle, have a pleasant night, and you, what would it be, Monday?
Today's Thursday, my brother. You're living a good life.
Well, you look like I'm living too happy.
Yes. Have a good night, my brother.
Yeah, you have a pleasant night.
Have a good night. That's the Bible Man. He slipped in his sermon tonight. You think it was a good one? My quotation for tonight. We always get our quotations each time around. And tonight's quotation: in law, a man is guilty when he violates the rights of others. In ethics, he is guilty if he only thinks of doing so. That's our quotation for tonight, coming from across the Narrows over there in Nevis. You always welcome these quotations. Again, in law, a man is guilty when he violates the rights of others. In ethics, he is guilty if he only thinks of doing so. But my Straight Talk family, we looked at our thesis for tonight. I started a little late. I'll give you back a few minutes after 10 o'clock, since you lost me earlier. I just was having some technical difficulties. And this email reads: my Straight Talk family, Sir Patches, a happy good night to you, sir. I can see you are both keeping well and fighting the good fight. In this ongoing saga between East Coast Housing, NHC, and the government of St. Kitts and Nevis, it would be good to know whether East Coast Housing ever received the government or sovereign guarantee required by agreement dated April 2023. It sounds to me, from what Mr. Brian Singh has said so far, that the government of St. Kitts and Nevis never provided him with an effective guarantee as prescribed by the agreement between the parties. Do you know if this is correct? It would be good to know what is the value of the claim by East Coast Housing. Is it EC $20 million or is it EC $40 million or is it closer to EC $100 million? Well, according to the claim that I have seen, the claim speaks to damages for $8 million. And I think if we put that in EC dollars, that amounts to just over $21 million. And it's damages for fraudulent misrepresentation in the sum of $8 million US. Damages for damage to financial reputation and loss of opportunity to perform and profit from the housing project. And it goes on, damages for misfeasance in public office, interest pursuant to the relevant laws of St. Christopher and Nevis, costs, and such further or other relief as the Honorable Court deems so. My lines are open still, my Street Dog family. I'll take a few more calls before we wrap for tonight. It's 4 minutes before the 10 o'clock hour. But we'll give you back some of the time, like I said, that you lost. So fear not. You'll get back your time. I'll take perhaps 2 or 3 more calls before we wrap for tonight. If you join me after I commence, we dealt with our thesis for tonight, which I've titled Mr. Singh, should AG Garth Wilkin go to jail? Caller, you're live. Hello,
yeah,
caller.
Patches, I just wanted to come back in quickly, man.
Yes, sir.
That email I'm going to point straight to my question last time about trade secrets. Reason being, that email that you got in that said that they're building houses using Singh's designs.
Mm-hmm.
And, those are the type of things that got to be put into perspective when you come to that situation. And me personally, straight to the counsel for Singh and his company, is that 8 million US they're asking for, Patches?
Yes.
For damages?
That's one part of the claim, yes.
Oh, that's one part of the claim. Okay, well, that figure, I don't know if the court is the one who's going to decide on the final figure, but that figure should be bumped up significantly by the counsel for East Coast and Brian Singh. And I'll leave that there, Patches. If trade, because I remember the AG said something about trade secrets.
Yes.
And if they're violating Singh's trade secrets, if there is any secrets at all from that contractor, they should be held accountable for that as well. That 8 million US dollars should be bumped up significantly. Brian Singh should squeeze these guys up. Show the St. Nevis Federation that our politicians are failing them in negotiations and such things when it comes to these contracts. These guys must be held accountable, bro. And I'm telling that attorney for Singh, don't forget the initial thing is breach of contract. Thanks a lot, Patrick, man. You guys have a good night.
Thanks a lot as well. We go back to the lines. My Straight Dog family. Caller, you are live. Hello, caller. Are you there, caller? Okay, I seem to have lost that caller. I'll take a few more calls before we wrap for tonight, but let's take this call. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Mr. Patches, greetings. How are you?
I am peaceful, my brother. Yourself?
I'm very good myself, listening to this very interesting thesis. Very interesting. I always say, Mr. Patches, an attorney general in any government around the world is the face of that government. And when our attorney general, when I see how he handled the injunction case, Mr. Patches, when I see a lawyer, the facts of the case is against him, that lawyer, but yet still carry a matter court. You didn't carry the attorney general court, you know. It was the other way around.
True.
And the facts, he know was against him. He brought an injunction against a citizen. And when you see the outcome, hear the outcome of that case, I mean, I said as a citizen that I would like to see how he would handle the country affairs. If he, a private affairs of his, he handles so in such a disastrous way. I mean, look at now what is unfolding in our eyes. I heard you said one time on one of your programs, Sam Daniel was a friend of Butcher.
Yep.
And he transgressed the law. And Butcher didn't stand in the way of the law. He let the law take its course. So when I just hear he's saying Butcher was a hero, that is true. Are we going into his steps as what he stands for? Are we doing that? That's the question I just ask myself, because if Butcher didn't stand within the law with Sam, as he set the example, what the example now we are seeing with our Attorney General, no one weighing in no principle stand, no discipline stand. So I'll be walking in the steps of Butcher when it comes on discipline and morals and authority of our government. Mr. Patches, whenever conflict arises between material and spiritual values, the conscience plays an important role. And anyone who suffers from a guilty conscience is never free from his problems until he makes peace with his conscience. Mr. Patches, continue to stay strong. God bless.
God bless you as well, my brother. Thanks for your contributions each time. And yes, what Bradshaw did, I was told, is to advise the late Sam Daniel to find himself a lawyer. Never use his office to try to change the course of things. Caller, you are live. Hello, caller.
Good evening, my husband. How are you?
I am peaceful, my longing wife.
I went overseas. That's why you could not hear my voice.
You went overseas and you didn't tell me. Okay.
I was. I did. Huh?
Yeah, but
I did forget to call in when I was there overseas and tell them overseas.
Okay, my dear. Good to hear, though.
Yes. But I reached back last night. Yes.
You had a good trip. Had a good trip.
Yes. Yes, man. I wish I could go back.
Okay.
I wish I could go back, but better luck next time. What I call him to say, this man not call Lucifer. Wherever he named Lucifer, my name. So he avoid that.
Lucifer Wilkin. Are you there? Okay, it seems as if I lost that caller. Don't know why you always seem to drop out, right? But my I just got Laugh by straight up family. I can't tell you what the laugh is about. Caller,
Yes.
caller, your
Yes.
line. You keep dropping out.
Yes. Yes, because God. But I want to know something, Mr. Lloyd, but somebody vote for him. Vote for him.
He's not electable. He's not.
Nobody vote for him.
He's not electable.
I
Don't worry
listen,
that.
I listened to St. News tonight, and the Prime Minister, he just gone in office and he's going to pay double salary. What happened to this one here? No double salary for the civil servant them. They what of nothing. They ain't used to nothing. So they're gonna walk and just give the monthly pay. Yes, I see a video with Douglas with a crack a 90 and I tell him pay the double salary. I tell you pay the double salary. The double salary pay when Timothy leave office. The budget leave there for he to pay, so he did have to pay it. Now he gone in here and want to give this civil servant them nothing. But really happened to this man here? One term for him, you know? He ain't going back inside there, Mr. Lloyd, but one term for him. He not going back in neither he come out in. The people that working for government, teachers, doctors, and with others, they want nothing, they used to nothing. This man just taking the civil servant the money and doing our kind of shit with it. None for them, so how they're going to enjoy the Christmas. How Christmas going to look like they look to them. How we look to them. And the family, they don't get together because no money there to buy nothing. What he doing with people money in this country? Giving it away? Bank it, panta people? He only about them? This thing ain't going on good in Singh. Singh ain't going on good with this man here. He got the place corrupt. He got the place mashed up. We can't see tongue horses from the shop to all about the place. Wherever you go for spend your dollar, you can't hear. Who this? Who that day and wherever, you can't believe $100 now, just like $10. I went overseas and the thing them that I see, I said, well, I will think it's like to come like this. Cost of living in this place getting higher and higher. He and the couple them I see wherever they're supposed to see, and poor people who put him in there. Can't sit on horses. Mr. Lloyd, whether you want to know something, you have the last few of our lives to see 2026. I want to see those people in Singh and Nevis going to put back in Mark Bradley and also he. I want to see if they're going to put them back in. Because it will be like an ask to put them back inside here. They ain't fit to be in office. Running a government, you know, it's a big thing, you know. You got to know what you're doing. You have to know what you're doing. Don't know he's going to build a smart hospital. He can't build yet. The post office look down there in Sunny Point. Well, 1-6. The school mill them with the children them. And with adults in Basia High School. But you see, they must get nothing. Nothing they must give. Just that monthly salary and nothing. A shame of the Prime Minister there. You have a good night, Mr. Lloyd.
Have a good night as well, my dear. Good to hear you. Have yourselves
yes, baby.
And I asked Mr. Singh the question. I want to ask you, should the Attorney General Garth Wilkin go to jail? Yes or no?
He's supposed to go to jail because he don't know what he's doing. He's doing a lot of nonsense. Let me go behind bars.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. That's all I want.
Are the young man them supposed to go behind bars because here we are jacket and tie? He's supposed to go behind the door.
Okay, thank you very much. I heard you loud and clear. Thank you very much. Let's go back to the lines. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Good night. Good night.
Good night, my brother.
My advisor.
Am I?
My professor.
Okay.
This is the voice of Mr. Welcome. And I did decide to hold it down tonight, but I said I can't hold it down. And listening to Mr. Singh, listening to all these claims and allegations against the PM, the Premier, the AG, why people the citizens of the Federation do not hold a peaceful protest and ask these people to get out of the office immediately or call an early election for a decision to be made, are they going to continue allow these people to pull the country down? The country is going down. How much more this country must go down? St. Kitts has a standard and it has depreciated so much. You are going to tell me that when St. Kitts is sink, some people say sink it. St. Kitts is not sink it. St. Kitts is Saint Kitts, a saint. These people are drawing down the Federation. They broke the Federation. And then hear this lady talking about double salary. Do you think they have money there to pay double salary? Just take it easy. A better day is coming. Maybe it might be triple salary. The next administration yet to come will take care of the people and allow Winston Welcome to be one of those. Give me a seat and we will make it happen. Give the independents a seat.
Okay.
And we will make it happen. Give Patches a seat.
You know,
and everything will be okay. Thank you for that.
You know, my brother. I wish I could have after this. I wish I could have said this is a paid political broadcast, but you don't. But have yourself a wonderful time, my brother.
Thank you very much.
Yes, the questions and the issues as we wind down tonight's program in my Straight Talk family. The accusations we have heard are serious accusations. And we have to take all of them seriously. Because the allegations that the government of St. Kitts and Nevis and the National Housing Corporation failed to deliver as per the contract. But the compounding as well, and the additional claims, the allegations that officials may have engaged in deception, inducement, or conduct that can be considered misfeasance or was considered misfeasance. As a matter of fact, Brian Singh said this.
Well, we didn't know that the documents were fraudulent until August this year. When we made a request to the AG, when he did termination letter, and we made a request to him in writing for copies of documentation, he in writing returned and said he's not providing any. And through Mr. Gums, we decided to, on our own, try to get copies of the documents, which we got, and then we realized the documents were fraudulent. Hence the reason why we decided to go towards the claim.
Fraudulent is a strong word.
Very strong and very correct and very factual. We have documentary evidence.
And my Straight Talk family, these are not casual accusations. They are assertions that demand independent, transparent investigations. Patches read this email. Former commissioner of the USVI was convicted today in federal court on St. Thomas. Patches, do you think this could happen to Attorney General Garth Wilkins? Well, very important question. And he used the conditional if it could happen. I will find it difficult to concur it would happen. Because this government does not champion accountability. Because a government that champions accountability cannot simultaneously ignore accusations of wrongdoing within its own ranks. And the public's concern is easily intensified by all these controversies surrounding Attorney General Garth Lucifer Wilkin. Despite the judge's clear articulation of the law, consequences appeared uneven compared to ordinary citizens who face penalties for similar breaches. The public perception, fear or not, is that political status confers immunity, thus eroding confidence in the impartiality of the justice system. In all these claims, the government remains silent. At its core, the issue is not about housing contracts or court filings. It is about power versus principle. No country can uphold credibly claim to uphold or can credibly claim to uphold democratic values if the application of justice is selective, if the government lacks transparency, and if public officials, like the Attorney General, behave as if accountability is optional. When governance becomes unresponsive, secretive, or dismissive in the face of serious allegations, the social contract begins to fracture. The rule of law becomes ruled by silence. The collapse of the Smart Home Initiative, combined with the unresolved allegations of misconduct and the public's perception of unequal justice, represents a pivotal moment for St. Kitts and Nevis. Whether the nation moves toward greater transparency, accountability, and institutional integrity, or slides further toward rule by power rather than rule by law, depends on how leaders respond now. The strongest political message is this, my Straight Talk family. No democracy can survive if the law bends for some and breaks for others. The people deserve clarity, accountability, and a justice system that is blind, not only in symbol, but in practice. Truth be told, is the debate about whether the Attorney General Garth Lucifer Wilkin should go to jail says less about the legal merits of any specific accusation and far more about the current state of our politics here in St. Kitts and Nevis. When the Federation's chief legal advisor becomes a lightning rod for criminal rhetoric, it reflects a deep public distrust towards the institutions that are supposed to operate above politics. But here's the hard truth as I conclude. No official, Attorney General or otherwise, should be judged by public outrage alone. If critics believe misconduct occurred, the correct path is transparent investigation, independent oversight, and evidence-based accountability. The real crisis, Straight Talk believes, however, is much more than whether one individual should go to jail. It is that the public increasingly observes that every high-level legal decision made by this incumbent administration is politically motivated. For that reason, and until institutions can regain credibility and justice under the Terence Michael Drew administration, unless and until it becomes blind, justice, until it becomes blind, the Attorney General will continue to not be treated as the Federation's chief legal officer, but as a combatant in a permanent political war. Therefore, the question, as I leave, still remains, Mr. Singh, should Attorney General Garth Lucifer Wilkin go to jail? And that's my story tonight, and I am not going to change it. I want to thank Almighty God for guiding our conversation tonight, as always. I want to thank you, the many viewers, those who called my Straight Talk family, and those who sent emails. Remember, you are the ones who make Straight Talk, and for that reason, I say a big, big thank you. I am Ian Patches Liebert, and Godspeed. Until we connect on Monday for another edition of Straight Talk, be good to yourselves and to all whom you meet. And remember that whatever your mind conceive, that you will achieve. But first of all, you got to believe. So when you wake in the morning, thank God for the morning light. Thank Him for taking you through the night. And my Straight Talk family, have yourselves a wonderful weekend. Bye-bye. Until we connect on Monday, keep moving on.
When I wake in the morning, I thank God for the morning light. Give Him thanks and praises for taking me safely through the night, for the rest of food and loving care, and for my mother's breath of life that's got me here. So whatever my mind conceive that I will achieve, you better believe, because I do the things I should be to my brethren